Hi, my name is Kyree Gilliam with Caldwell Banker, Gene Armstrong Incorporated here in Inglewood. I'm sitting here today with Juan Bueno, title rep from Old Republic Title Company. And the reason I asked Juan here today is because I come across a lot of questions dealing with real estate, selling it, with the buyers. When they purchase it, why do they need title insurance? So Juan is here. I asked him to come down and explain why do we need title insurance during the transaction.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Kyree. I appreciate that. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's always great to educate and to really teach buyers and sellers of the importance about title insurance. Again, my name is Juan Bueno. I am with Old Republic Title Company. We are a title insurance company, and I'm your local title insurance expert. So my job is really that, to educate and keep the relationships from Old Republic, healthy, and to ensure that we provide the service to help our agents thrive in this industry, which is the sellers and the buyers, and helping and educating them. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Title insurance, it's important to have for many reasons. One of them being that a buyer is making the purchase of a property, and is one of the biggest investments they'll ever make in their lifetime, right? That's a big investment. That's one of the biggest investments that people make in terms of their assets. Is one of their biggest assets, and so people want to protect that, and so title insurance does that. When someone is buying a property wants to ensure that they're not limited to using their property, right? Exactly. We've had cases where people have acquired a property and they can't paint a property, green. Someone perhaps is their favorite color, right? Green, but forgot to read on the title report that there are CCNRs, covenant conditions and restrictions to owning the property.
Owning the property, yes.
And so they are limited or restricted to painting the property to a certain color. And so a title insurance company will discover that. We provide a preliminary title report where it shows what are the restrictions.
What are the restrictions, if any liens are on the property and things of that nature, right?
Right. Tax liens, judgments, anything that is considered a title defect will show on the title report, and then that's where we would provide the report, give that to escrow. Escrow will then provide a copy to the buyer. The buyer can then determine whether they are okay to buy the property after they've read the report and decide whether it's a good investment. We then provide the title policy. As a title insurance company, we work hard to identify and eliminate risk before we issue the title insurance policy, and ensure that there's no, and these are some of the samples of the title defects. We have the outstanding mortgages, judgments, tax liens, deeds, wills, trusts that contain improper vestings or incorrect names, and incorrect notary acknowledgments. There's also hidden defects, which are, not on the public record. And so a deed that was previously given to an heir that perhaps never recorded it, forged deeds that were signed by a forger, someone that wasn't really the homeowner, or mistakes that sometimes public records make.
Yes.
And so all of that is caught. And so the title company works very hard to identify that and catches that and puts it on a report. And before we issue the policy to the buyer, we ensure that they are either cleared and the conditions are met before we issue the policy. And so the buyer is then guaranteed clear title. And in essence, that's really what the buyer wants to ensure that their property that they're acquiring,
that they're not acquiring nobody else's problem.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Title defects are somebody else's problems, right?
Exactly.
And so that's what we work hard to identify and eliminate before we issue the title policy. Now, the other question was the seller, right?
What benefits do the seller gain from having title insurance?
Right. Well, the seller doesn't really, there really isn't a benefit to the seller, because the seller is selling the property. So he, in essence, is buying a policy for the buyer. And so the seller will sell the property, pay for the homeowner's policy, but that's their guarantee to the buyer. So a buyer will not buy a property if they don't have this guarantee.
Yeah.
If I was a buyer buying a property and the seller would not provide me title insurance, I would not buy the property. And in essence, that's really what a seller is doing. They are selling the property and they're guaranteeing to the buyer that their property is going to be free and clear of title defects, and it's not going to carry over their problems.
Yes.
Right? And so that's in essence what we are doing, protecting and ensuring that title defects
Yeah,
are
so the
clear.
buyer can enjoy their property.
Right, and paint it green if they want to.
Well, I'd like to say thanks, Juan, for coming out and spending a few moments with me to help me get that out there about what's the importance of title insurance.
Happy to do that. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Until we meet again.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.